Not Worth the Time with Wade Taylor. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Not Worth the Time. So glad you guys could come. Hope you're enjoying your Mother's Day. Hopefully you called your mom or you sent her some flowers. You better send your mom some flowers. Don't be a bitch. Send your mom some goddamn flowers. Be a man, okay? Just send your mom some flowers, and that's it. Actually, don't even call her. If you send flowers, don't call. That's all you got to do. You wait for them to call, right? You send them the flowers, then they call with appreciation. That's how you get appreciated. You're supposed to show your appreciation for them, but that's how you flip it and you get your own appreciation, you know? And sorry to those people who you're adopted or whatever, and you just don't have your parents, you know? You just call somebody that you think is your mom, you know? Call your best friend who is also a dude and thank him for Happy Mother's Day. And he's like, what? Huh? Well, you basically raised me, man. Oh. Yeah, it's going to make him feel real awkward, and it's going to be a good laugh, you know? Send him chocolates and flowers. It gets real weird all of a sudden. Yeah, I hope everybody had a good Mother's Day, though. That's what you're supposed to do. Go hang out with your mom. Call them. Tell them you love them. All that good stuff. Good times. I'm a day late. So, it's Monday. So that happened yesterday. So you got to do that today. Or you do it beforehand. That's also the good move. That's always the better move. Like on holidays like this, for like Father's Day, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, all that stuff, you just do it the day before. That's what me and my brothers did with my mom. We just did it the day before rather than doing it on Mother's Day because everything's too packed. Everybody's doing the same thing. They all think, oh, we'll just do it on actual Mother's Day. Nah, man. If you want to go do something that's not at the house, if you're not having a barbecue and hanging out, cooking up some chicken, making some brats on the grill, having a good old time, if you're going to go out, and be an overachiever and have to go out in public and show off your mom, like, oh my God, see, I still have a mom. Oh God, I'll show it off. If you have to do it that way, you do it like the day before or after, because then it's less busy, We just went to a Top Golf place. It ruled. We just hit golf balls for a few hours and drank some beers. That's how you do it. That's how you spend Mother's Day. Bring her flowers, go hit golf balls with your mom. Not only that, it sucked. Because I've been playing golf, practicing, doing my thing. I've been like excruciatingly trying to get better at golf again. I used to be decent, not anymore. I'm awful. I got to refigure out the whole game again. But I've been practicing, feeling pretty good about it. My mom beat the shit out of me in Top Golf. She whooped all of me and my brother's asses. Well, okay, Nathan ended up winning, but for like the majority of it, she was just beating us. It was consistent. It's not like she was hitting it bad. It was just she was hitting it into a target every shot. It took to like the 14th ball where she didn't get it into a target. I think it took me 7 or 8 balls before I finally hit a target. It was bad. I just kept over hitting it, dude. It was awful, but fun nonetheless. If you guys have never Top Golfed, highly recommend it. Take your mom, and if you really fucked up and forgot about Mother's Day and you need to make it up, take her to Top Golf. Yeah, it's going to blow her mind. Even if she doesn't golf, man, just get her drunk, get her swinging, and then you get to laugh if she's never been an athletic person, She's just swinging at golf balls, missing, just completely whiffing. She's drunk as hell, saying some goofy shit. She's like quoting Adam Sandler's Happy Gilmore for no reason. It doesn't even, she's just yelling at you, saying you suck, Gilmore. She's just going at you, man. She's like the ultimate Shooter McGavin all of a sudden. She's like, Jesus Christ, I didn't know my mom was this competitive. But yeah, it's a good time. I hope everybody had a good one, It's nice to be able to go out and do stuff again, That's been the nice part. Everybody's out going out, doing stuff, hanging out, golfing, drinking. Everybody's trying to get outside and do some shit now. And it's nice because we're starting to see things again. It feels like it's going back to normal. Like I'm just seeing weird stuff again, which is awesome. For some reason, you would think during this whole pandemic thing that the weirdos would have increased because the weirdos aren't going to follow rules. Weirdos never follow rules. You'd think they would just be hanging out outside constantly, just doing whatever they normally do, right? Not the case. The weirdos for some reason all disappeared, and then the normal people just started like they were the ones coming out and being they became weird. The normals became weird, and the weirdos became shut-ins. It's wild stuff. But you're starting to see the weirdos come out again with their weird fashion and their awful vehicle choices. I was driving down the interstate. Now, And somebody, if you listen to this podcast and you're a firefighter, I need to know. You guys got to let me know. What is with your guys' thing and having to brag about being a firefighter? It's like the one thing that you guys have and you got to bring it up. It becomes your fucking personality. It's crazy. Like, I'm driving behind this truck and it has the custom license plates for a firefighter. It has the little emblem and whatever, and it's in red, and clearly a firefighter's vehicle, right? Not one they would drive to the thing. This is like a Toyota Tundra, okay? No one's taking a Toyota Tundra to a fucking fire, okay? That would be the weirdest DUI. What is it? DIY. Fire truck of all time. You get your own truck and you built a Toyota Tundra into a fire truck. That's just bad. This is bad at marketing, guys. If you're gonna put out fires, you got to do it in a Ford. Ford is the vehicle you put out fires in. I don't know why. I don't make the rules. It's just what it is. I think it's because Ford has the right color red truck. Okay. All the other reds that come from all the other factories, all the other brands, they're just not the right red. Ford makes the right color red truck. It's just what it is, and it's just how it always will be. Get the fuck over it. But it's his personal truck, but it has a firefighter license plate. You can clearly tell. But he didn't stop there. No, that wasn't enough to identify him as a firefighter to random strangers who are driving down the interstate. No. He needed something even more. He's like the guys, I don't know if anybody remembers the podcast where I talked about the canary yellow cars, where you're driving a sports car and you get it in canary yellow because you need to stick out that much more. It's not enough that you already drive a sports car. See, it wasn't enough that he had the license plate. He had to go all out, and he's like, I don't think you understand how intense it is to be a firefighter. And on the back window of his Toyota Tundra was a giant sea. It was a fucking mural on the back. Like those see-through murals you can put on the back of things that in the back windows or whatever, so you can still see out of them, but it's just like a full picture. It had like a giant firefighter seal on it, and then off to the side, a silhouette of a firefighter walking into a burning building, like just bright, like he's completely blacked out, just a silhouette, and just this raging fire he's walking into. Over the top. It's so unnecessary. There's no need to have a giant silhouette of a fucking of a firefighter walking in. We get it, dude. You save lives. I honestly really, if you have that, you have to have at least 15 minimum burning houses you've ran into. At minimum. Okay? I think you have to, that's like I wonder if firefighters have like a scholastic book fair, like winning bracket. Like the more box tops you turn in, the bigger prizes you get. And that's just one of the prizes you eventually get. Oh, you've ran into 15 burning buildings. Here's a giant silhouette on the back of your Toyota Tundra. Free of charge. Like, that had to be, like, if he paid for that out of his own pocket, that's insane. It's crazy. It seems like such a traumatic event and such a horrifying thing to want to do and go through. Like, firefighters do a hard job when there are fires. No doubt about it. But I just don't think you want to put that on the back of your truck. They're the only ones doing that. You don't see a mechanic like having a giant silhouette of a guy with a wrench working underneath a diesel truck. Police officers don't have them shooting people on the back of their cars. Their private cars, they definitely don't. They're trying to keep that shit on the DL, especially nowadays. You don't see veterans of war having that. I've never seen a veteran with a giant sticker of like them in a fucking foxhole over in Baghdad or something. The firefighters are the only ones that do that. And it's weird. I don't understand why, but they need that. That's why I need. If you listen to this podcast, let me know where in the handbook of becoming a firefighter does it say you have to have this overwhelming what step is that in becoming a firefighter where you have to develop overwhelming pride in being a firefighter? It just seems like it's the first thing you talk about. I know, like, if you listen to this podcast, I talk about comedy and stuff a lot, but like in my personal life, I never bring it up. I try not to tell anybody I do it because it's weird and people get weirded out. I bet you people get weirded out when you tell people you're a firefighter. They get weirded out because now they have to act like they treat you like a hero. That's what you're expecting. Trying to get a little leg up, trying to act like a hero, but it is what it is. I understand. You just want to be recognized. Everybody wants to be recognized, okay? But you just have to know. If you listen and you're a firefighter, email the podcast, okay? punninggame@gmail.com. I got to know. I got to know, okay? But, there's some job. Maybe you need to get a different job just to gain a little new perspective, Maybe it's just that overwhelming of a satisfying job. Like, you love being a firefighter so much, and it's so satisfying that you just, yep, this is it. This is my entire personality based on this. Which, if that's the case, good for you, I guess. But I don't think it is the most satisfying job in the world. In fact, I found an article today, that's what we're going to start off with, about what's the most satisfying job in the world. You'd be surprised. So, apparently, these professors and shit, this psychologist, Barry Schwartz, explored the meaning and the engagement that some workers feel about professions you might not expect to be fulfilling. So he went around and asked a bunch of questions about what people thought about certain positions, and then went and asked these actual workers. Okay, let's see here. Satisfied workers are engaged by their work. Satisfied workers have a measure of autonomy and discretion in their work, and they use their autonomy and discretion to achieve a level of mastery and expertise. They learn new things, developing both as a worker and as people. The most important, satisfied workers are satisfied because they find what they're doing to be meaningful. Their work may make a difference in the world, and it may make people's lives better. Yeah, that's, I guess, isn't it weird that a lot of times our whole entire life, you've been taught, don't care what other people think. Don't care about what other people think. But yet, we do a lot of things that will make people feel better or think better of us. So you're trying to do jobs constantly that'll make people's lives better. And be like, well, if I do this for them, it'll make them think highly of me, but make them feel better about me. It's weird, but that's what we're driven by. The diverse portion source of satisfaction from work raises a very big question. Why is it that for overwhelming majority of people in the world, work has few to or none of these attributes? According to a massive report published in 2013 by the Gallup, the Washington, D.C. based polling organization, only 13% of workers feel engaged in their jobs. These people feel a sense of passion for their work, and they spent their days helping to move their organization forward, but 90% of adults spent half their waking lives doing things they would rather not be doing at a place they would rather not be. Yeah, because we're just trying to pay bills. Nobody fucking wants to go to work. It's so few and far in between that you can actually make a hobby or something you love to do a thing that pays your bills. It's fucking hard. It is such a time-consuming and over again process in order to make that happen. And you got to put in a lot of legwork. That's the problem, is when you have a passion or something you really like, you have to put in hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of work, which then turns your thing you like so much into a work or a position or a job almost. And that's when people start losing interest in that. You got to fight that kind of urge a little bit, but it is what it is. Let's go down here. Let's see here. Let's get to the actual jobs here. Like we kind of get what they're saying and setting this up. I would assume, if you want, like always, guys, if you want to read the whole thing, links are in the description down below. So just go check that out if you want to read more into this. In excerpt from the book, I describe the meaning of engagement in some workers, diverse from some of the professions you might expect to be fulfilling. And here's the real point. The fact is, when people have meaningful work, they work harder, smarter, and better, and their companies are more profitable. Given this, it makes you wonder why the heads of companies are leaving money on the table by creating de-skilled work that demeans workers. Exactly. You just create tedious tasks because you're like, well, we need them to do something during the day for 8 hours. I think I've fucking said this a billion times on this fucking show. If you have a performance-based job, like where it's just about processing. Like when I worked as a data processor, I should have a set goal of what I'm supposed to do each day. Like, okay, you have this much. You have 100 accounts you got to process. Cool. If I process those 100 accounts, I should just be able to leave. I shouldn't have to sit there and work for 8 hours a day, but then I have to it's a weird system in the fact that like other people, you have to pick up their slack. I finished my 100 accounts. Well then, that's cool. Jeff over here is having a hard time fucking finishing his. So why don't you take 25 of his? Why can't Jeff finish his fucking work? Why do I have to do that now? Then it starts feeling like you're getting taken advantage of, and then therefore your work doesn't feel like it's meaningful. Then you just start slowing down on your pile so you don't have to do other people's work. You know, it's just a endless cycle of that. But anyway, let's go here. Hospital custodian. Luke worked as a hospital custodian at a major teaching hospital. His job description said nothing about responsibility for caring for patients and their family. He has a long list of duties that include collecting and disposing soiled linen and stocking the restroom supplies. But not a single item on his list even mentions interacting with other human beings. From this description, Luke could be working in a shoe factory or a mortuary instead of a hospital. Man, that took what a weird two comparisons there for this article. Like, he works at a hospital, but by his job description, he works at a shoe factory or a mortuary. You know, he's either making shoes for athletes or he's working with dead people. It's just, okay. But Luke was doing a different job than his official description would suggest. As research, Amy Wrzanowski discovered when she and her team conducted an in-depth interview with Luke and the other hospital custodians. The researchers asked the custodians to talk about their job, and the custodians began to tell them stories about what they did. Luke's story told them that his official duties were only one part of his real job. The other central part of his job was making patients and their families feel comfortable, to cheer them up when they were down, to encourage them and divert them from their pain and their fear, to give them them a willing ear if they felt they needed to talk. Luke wanted to do something more than just a mere custodial work. They see that's just somebody taking on extra responsibility. Like a janitor in a hospital just being like if somebody started talking to him and asking him stuff, he could just easily just do the cop out. Hey, I'm just the janitor, man. I just work here. I don't know anything about this. But he chose actually to be like a human being. Like it's very easy. He could have just been like, he knows how to be a human. He knows is obviously from what he's talking about. He understands fear and pain and all that stuff, so he can at least empathize. So he's probably just very much on an empath kind of thing. Anyway. What Luke sought in his work was sharpened by aims. In Ashtabak, called Tello, an organization. Tello is of the hospital, promotes health, curing illness, revealing suffering, was embedded in Luke's approach in his job. Amazing thing, Wrzanowski and her colleagues discovered about Luke and many of his coworkers is that they understood and internalized these aims in spite of the official job description, not because of it. The job they were actually doing was one of shaping themselves in light of the telemedical care. Ben, the other custodian, told researchers that he stopped mopping the hallway floors because a patient who was recovering from major surgery was out of his bed getting a little much needed exercise by walking slowly up and down the hall. So just recognizing a pattern. Like he's like, whoa, he could have easily been like, well, this guy's impeding my work. I gotta get done. But no, he realizes it's more important for that guy to work out his muscles after a thing. That's pretty cool. It's not bad now. So he just helping people. That's just another way of helping people, even if they don't realize it. Carpet maker. Wait, what? 20 years ago, Ray Anderson, the late CEO of an amazingly successful carpet manufacturer interface, had what described as empathy What? Okay. Anyway, here it was. With more money than he or his heirs would know what to do with. When he realized that his company was poisoning the environment, carpet making or was the petroleum intensive industry, uh, and interface environment footprint was huge. Anderson wondered what he could do that would leave his grandchildren a great wealth if the price accumulation was of that wealth was inherently bad for the planet. Oh, an uninhabitable planet, sorry. So Anderson resolved by transforming every aspect of the interface to go zero footprint by 2020. He assumed that the developing a new product and procedure commitment to the pollution control would cost money, a lot of it, and he was willing to sacrifice his bottom line. Okay, yeah, that's pretty satisfying. So, as a result of Anderson's vision, 20 years out, is a company remains extremely successful. Populated by employees who are engaged in coming to work every day. He documents the transformation of interface in 2009 book. Okay, you do not need to be working for an organization that saves lives to find meaning and purpose in what you do. You need to be doing work that makes people's lives better. Yeah, that makes sense. That's why I like doing comedy. Hopefully, I'm making people laugh and having a good time. I don't know right now. I've been reading a lot of shit right here. And not making a lot of jokes, just kind of reading about this stuff. It's interesting. I like it. Like right here, hairstylist. Yeah, of course, like that's a satisfying feeling job. You make somebody look better. I don't even need to read this, to be honest. You make somebody look and feel better about themselves. You help them gain confidence. You help them boost their self-esteem just by helping them with their appearance a little bit. Now, is that one of the 7 deadly sins of where you're just addicted to vanity? Sure, but who cares? It's what you need. Sometimes you need that little boost, and a hairstylist can do that. Also, it's nice to talk shit. A hairstylist helps you just talk mad shit on all the people in your life. Fuck those people, right? The hairstylists have all the gossip, and that doesn't hairstylists. I'm assuming when you say hairstylist, I mean, me anyway, I also think of barbers. You go to a barbershop, everybody's talking shit. It's just a fun environment to go talk shit in. And then you leave looking fresh as fuck. It's the best. Or you just talk dumb shit. You don't even talk shit about real things. Last time I went to my barber, shout out to Sean. Shout out to Sean. He, Lynchpin Barber in Indianola, Iowa. Go check him out. Me just talked about wrestling. Just talked about wrestling for fucking an hour while he's cutting my hair. It didn't even take an hour to cut my hair, but we did. And it was awesome. It made me feel better. I felt great when I left, you know? That's why it's a satisfying job there. And those are the 3 good jobs, I guess, that they win. So, fun stuff, you know. It is fun. I got time for one more story or thing I found on the internet here, so we're going to do it anyway. So, if you're doing those long jobs, definitely one of the things you definitely need from now here and there. You just need a little bit of here and there. You need some vacation time is what you need from those satisfying jobs. You're so filled with satisfaction, but you need to satisfy your needs too. So you need to take a long vacation. Now, it sucks because these don't exist anymore, and I wish they did, but I found this thing, the long-lost world of luxury flying boats. Yes, dude. Yes. Luxury flying boats. These are basically flying yachts. It is intense. Like, the amount... You want to talk about that guy, Mr. Anderson, who wanted his carpet company to have no emission footprint? These things had all the emission footprints, okay? You're putting a goddamn flying yacht in the sky and people are sleeping on it. That's intense. Also, flying boats. I always love that. Like, a flying boat. So we had boat cars. We had flying boats. Like, what weren't boats getting turned into, man? For the glamour of long-distance travel in the 1930s, there was nothing quite matching the grandiose of the flying boat. Wish the ocean streamliners, plush sleeper trains have their charm. Surely no other travel vessel can beat the Pan Am Clipper class. Now, here we go, guys. These sleek, hulking seaplanes were unlimited luxury flying and floating five-star hotels, roughly the size of a modern commercial jet. So this thing was a just giant five-star hotel on it. Now, I can't imagine they were that comfortable, though. Also, this is the thing that gets me. If you go scroll down here, look, like they have full dining tables and people are eating and having dinner and just they're traveling. So I'm guessing they're parked here. There's no way you can fly and try to eat lobster. You try to eat lobster on a fork while turbulence is at with one of those little tiny forks. You're gonna be trying to scrape it out of that shell, and you're gonna poke yourself. You're just like, oh, fuck, oh God, oh. There better be a doctor on this plane. Well, luckily we're in a five-star hotel, sir, so of course there's a doctor on this plane. He's on vacation. I'm a doctor. Actually, I'm sorry, that doctor canceled his vacation, but we do have the custodian who works at the student hospital here. He can talk you through it. So, what fascinates me too about just traveling in general, it's weird. So like when we start making airplanes and boats and cars back in the day, okay, but on average, the American person has like become a larger person, not because of weight. Okay, I'm talking about just height and everything. We've just become larger people over time. It's slowly happened. Back then, those cars were gigantic. There was leg room on the airplanes. Like, everything was bigger. Like, you had more room. But these people were tinier. They were just smaller human beings back then. And for some reason, as time's gone on and we've gotten bigger, everything else has gotten smaller just because they're trying to jam-pack us onto planes. Like, you've seen planes, like, just normal ones from back then. They just had way more room. And I know the planes nowadays are not the ones from the 70s. They're not. There's no plane in service right now that's from the 70s that was big enough. And so it's not like, oh, we just got too big. No, they're just designing them smaller now. Like, and it's mind-boggling that that's the case. So step out of the jetty in your finest travel clothing. That's another thing that's really weird now. It's so funny that back in the day, people used to wear suits, hats, just dressed to the nines to go to the airport, dressed to the nines to go to Vegas. Nowadays, people are just wearing sweatpants and sweatsuits to the fucking airport. And you know what? I respect the sweatsuits. That's cool. I respect that. That's a good look. Wear a sweatsuit. I think we should dress comfortably, but I think it's still got to have a suit in it. We don't have to wear a business casual suit, but we should be wearing something with a suit in it, and that's why track suits are going to make a comeback. I think it should be standard issue. We have to wear track suits to the airport. You can be comfy, but it's got to have the word suit in it. That's it. That seems like a fair trade to me. Just saying. Pan Am Airways system had been perfectly its international air service in 1927 when Pan Am's number one flight left Key West for Havana. Longer routes and systems were developed to hone by the seaplane throughout Latin America. These early flying boats were capable of around a dozen. Were capable. Around a dozen or to 20 passengers and could only manage a distance of nearly 1,000 miles before having to refuel. That doesn't sound too bad. I guess like having a luxury plane take you from Key West to like Havana, that seems to make sense until the 60s when the fucking Cuba got all uppity and was like, hey, we want to do this, and then we got in a trade embargo. Thanks a lot, Kennedy. Anyway. But it was with the adverse Boeing giant 314 Clipper class in the late 30s that saw an advent of the romantic era for the first trans-ocean flight capable of comfortably flying 74 passengers and 10 crew the distance of 3,500 miles. These luxury flying fortresses captured the adventure seeker's imagination with the names such as the Yankee Clipper and the Chinese Clipper and the Dixie. These swiftly replaced ocean liners which took weeks to travel from place that Pan Am clipper could reach in overnight. Yeah, that just completely changed the game. Look at the inside of this thing, man. They still you have to go upstairs to the cockpit. That's all the way up here, and then you got like a little area down here. There's a little kitchen right there. Oh man, then you got these big hangout areas. Dude, this is why the Mile High Club was invented. Because back then you had room to just bang it out. People had orgies back then. I'm telling you. Like in the 1930s, right before the stock market crash, right in that, right? Okay, everybody was killing it. The stock market's high. Everybody's having a good ass time, and these people are like, let's get a luxury plane that flies us all the way, that flies us so far, and let's just have a giant orgy. We'll have the fucking crew members in there. Hell yeah, dude. And all the stewardess and the stewards and the pilots were all fucking good looking back then. Like, you never saw a bad looking pilot or a stewardess back then. And so they were just, everybody was fucking. I guarantee you, there's at least one luxury or plane orgy story out there. And if you were on that plane, I need to have that interview. I need you to come on Not Worth the Time, and I need to interview you about that. Just because I got to know what it was like with that, just banging on that boat. Because you can't do that now. I mean, you could go to the museum and stuff. I guess it would be a little cramped. Like these photos right here would be a little cramped. It'd be hard to get it on when that bunk bed right there, But right there, there's so much room right there for an orgy. Look at that. There's so much room. Go for it. You know what I'm saying? The China Clipper. Who doesn't want to get it nasty in the China Clipper? You fly into Hawaii, of course you're having an orgy there. You're inviting the Islanders on there after to go with you, And I wish I could. That's what we should do. That I want to go to this I wish I could go to this airport right here, this Pan Am airport, and do that and see those planes. Probably would be very, very frowned upon doing it on those planes now. You know what isn't frowned upon? Going to punninggame.com. That's right, everybody. Punninggame.com is where you can find all the fun shows you love from this site. We got everything coming at you every day of the week. Monday through Friday, we got good content coming out. We got this show. We got Who Gives a F. We got the Empty Parlor podcast. Check all that stuff out. We really appreciate you guys checking it out. Don't forget to go to the Punning Game shop. Actually, we just added a new piece of merch to the Punning Game shop. We have the Pocket Watch Not Worth the Time hoodie. It's right. It's a zip-up hoodie with the logo up there in the corner on the chest. It's nice. It's awesome. Check that out. And don't forget to use promo code NWTPOD. That's NWT Pod for free shipping at checkout. Don't forget to, if you want to watch the show, if you're not watching it, why aren't you? You get to see all the visuals and watch me read it. Oh, crazy, huh? No. You want to go to youtube.com, search Comic Way Taylor, hit subscribe, and you can get all the shows that way. You can get Not Worth the Time, get Who Gives a F clips, and you can check out my half-hour special, Wild Horses. You don't want to miss that, guys. But yeah, thank you for checking out the show. I really appreciate it. This has been Not Worth the Time. And remember, don't do anything I wouldn't do.